Oscar.
Hello.
Rugby League Writer's Own.
That's
one
me.
of the brightest minds, rugby league minds in the country. And now fashion designer, just quietly.
Hey, yeah, shout out Rugby League Writers and to my beautiful wife for helping design some of these shirts. So yeah, the arrow frog from that famous Queensland victory a few years ago.
And
looks good.
who are you wearing?
And I'm rolling the pointing James Graham, or the knuckle pointing James Graham from that famous Bad Friday game a few years ago.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Before we get into some of the games this weekend, I wanted to use our one-on-one time to discuss the short dropouts that we're seeing.
It's been grinding your gears, mate.
It has been grinding my... Because, back when I was coaching, the point of the dropout was to always just bang the ball as far into the other side of the field as possible and pin them back. But teams are now opting to try and gamble and get the ball back, work out of their own half. But it looks like more and more that's not working, and teams are just giving the opposition another green set after a dropout. So what can you enlighten me as to why we continue to do this instead of just pinning them back and fighting for field possession?
Put my coach's hat on.
Yes.
I think it's all very contextual. Depends on what's going on in the game at that time. If you're on your line for an extended period, if you've already defended a couple of sets, if you've already defended a short dropout once, so you're looking at making 12 to 18 consecutive tackles on your line, it might be in your best interest to risk that short dropout because of the chance that you have at retaining possession. Obviously, the rule changes this year means that there's no penalty for stuffing up those short dropouts. There's no shot at goal and risk of losing 2 points. It's just to play the ball on the 10. From a defensive perspective, if you're defending from your 10-metre line, it's actually less space for you to retreat back to your own goal line as well. So rather than punching at 50 metres on the halfway, my defensive line's got to work up, make tackles, and then retreat back to full 10 metres each time. Whereas when I'm on my line, maybe I'm tackling you 5, 6, 7 metres out. That's 3, 4 or 5 less metres that I need to retreat to get back on side. But yeah, I think mainly it's just a contextual thing. If you've only just gotten down there, you might be comfortable just to send it long and back your defense. But yeah, I think the teams that are under pressure to defend their line, those are the ones that are taking the risk with the short dropouts. We're also seeing some teams and some players. Lauren Brown did it in the NRLW last weekend, nailing like a grubber-style dropout and aiming for the 10-metre line, trying to kick
Cutting
it into
the
touch.
corner, yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of that, particularly in the back end of this season.
So you're for the short dropout, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think the better teams are going to find ways to use it to their advantage within games. I hate the rule that's gotten rid of the penalty because I think it lessens the reward of forcing a forcing a goal line dropout. But yeah, I don't mind when teams are going for it at the right times in the game.
You're always the man to come to.
Well, it makes sense now sitting here, doesn't it? It's easy to say with hindsight.
All these things do my head in. I come to you. I get that clarity. The world keeps spinning. All right, let's talk football.
Yep.
There's a big game this weekend. Titans v Broncos.
Yep.
Bronx, no good at
Struggling.
the moment. Struggling.
Yeah.
We said they were back after that win against the Knights.
You were convinced? Yep.
And just as quickly as they came back, they left again.
Yep.
No good against the Bulldogs. How do you reckon this goes against the Titans, who have a pretty convincing record against the Bronx, all things considered?
It's always a good game, isn't it?
Certainly is.
The little brother, big brother rivalry there. Yeah, the Broncos are... Given the names through the middle of the field, I think that's where they're getting beaten at the moment. We saw them not adjust to the Bulldogs' really expansive attack last weekend. They stayed really compressed in yardage, which allowed them to get beaten on the edges. They got names like Pat Carrigan and Payne Haas who have come through a really grueling Origin series, so maybe they're feeling the pinch a little bit there. But yeah, defensively for Brisbane, it's where it's falling off right now. The Titans, it's an interesting matchup against the Titans, who've started the year slow, as we know, but they've created some really consistent looks in attack, or repeatable looks in attack on either edge. I really like what Jaden Campbell's doing with David Fafita, Brian Kelly and Alofiana Khan-Pereira on the Titans' left edge. They've got Kieran Foran playing at first receiver either side of the ruck, and then on the right-hand side, Keanu Kinney and Beau Fermor are doing some really good things down that side of the field. So they're asking a lot of questions on either side of the park, which is where the Broncos have been probably a little bit testy over the last month or so. I'm leaning towards the Titans line in this one. I think at this point of the season, you've got to back form over potential, and I think what the Gold Coast have done over the last month, I think they're the form team in this matchup.
That Titans line 6.5 at the time of recording. Gold Coast Titans $2.55 against Brisbane $1.52.
Yep.
Probably getting a bit of value for the Titans there. Let's jump across to another game that was revving your tractor, Oscar. What was that one?
To close out the weekend, a packed house at Belmore. Bulldogs hosting the Canberra Raiders. It's an interesting one. Doggies entrenched in the top 8 after I picked them for the spoon this year. I was very wrong about that one.
Boy, do we keep reminding you about that as well.
I'm happy to admit I got that one dead wrong. Their defence has been superb, but what we saw last week was very new for this Doggy side. Really expansive, confident and efficient in attack. So I'm interested to see how that works up against the Canberra Raiders side that are gritty. They work really hard. Maybe they don't have the repeatable, refined kind of actions with the ball, but they always compete and put themselves in the frame. That's how the Bulldogs have gotten themselves to where they are so far this season. But recently we've seen the Doggies and Canberra to an extent with Jamal Fogarty back in the team. Your mate.
Yeah. Shout out to Jamal, brother Jamal.
It's allowed the Raiders to add some more repeatable actions in attack, putting Ethan Strange and KO Weeks into some positive areas on the park. So, this profiles as a really good game. Bulldogs expansive out of yardage. Canberra generally defend really tight early in the count. So interested to see how both teams adapt on the run in this one. Probably leaning towards Canterbury.
Is there any try scorers there? Obviously, we don't know the team lists at the moment.
Markets will drop maybe tomorrow.
Yep.
In that Broncos Titans game, I like the Titans right edge.
Yep.
Kinney or both for more. I think they'll ask some questions of Ezra on the Broncos left edge.
Yep, sure.
He might be up to the challenge. I've been wrong before. And then for the Bulldogs, their right edge, need to wait and see a bit the team list, but their right winger, whether it's Jarrell Skelton again or maybe Blake Wilson over that side of the field, I think the Bulldogs will attack to their right in this one.
Alrighty, Oscar. It's another edition of the Offload in the books.
Hopefully a few winners in there, mate.
Fingers crossed.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website